Wakey, wakey, wakey!
Hands off, Snakey! You know what time it is. It's Saturday morning. You're regretting your decisions from last night.
Or are you?
Shouldn't have had that 4th Long Island iced tea or that 5th car bomb. You should have just left it all behind.
That 4th tequila shot will do you in every time.
And then thinking you could have the hot blonde in the corner with the 300-pound boyfriend and his arm all over her. You're lucky you're still alive. And you're lucky you're still alive.
Get that ice pack back on that nose.
Take some aspirin, fry up the eggs, fry up the bacon.
Get the coffee brewing. We got you covered this morning, like we always do.
We will get you through your pain. It is your favorite politically incorrect Saturday morning pop culture commentary podcast. It is Sports Frenzy 2.0. The man to my right is your Uncle Dave, the conquistador.
The man to my left is your Uncle Kev, the maestro Kevin Crane.
Your Uncle Dave's a little bit under the weather because 3 weeks off wasn't enough. He obviously needed more.
Wound up catching a head cold during the time away, but
he is
alas,
soldiering through.
Because that's what we do.
Gladiatoring through.
Gladiator 2 review coming up later. Here on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Otherwise known as iHeartRadio. Little premature sponsoration there.
You go where it fits in.
That's what she said. Ooh, I would like to meet her.
1, 2, or 3.
I would like to meet her. What do we always start off with, Dave?
It's all about the music. It's all about the rock and roll.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff to discuss here this week, starting off with an album that came out late last fall, physically, right around Thanksgiving. We dragged our feet on this a little bit. We did, I admit it.
Probably rightly so.
Well, after Autumn, their 3 CD opus from a couple years ago, I heard this was more guitar oriented. I heard this was going to be a little bit harder rocking. So
let's get into it and see if it was or wasn't.
Smashing Pumpkins, Agori, Morimi. 10 tracks. And I will say this. I do think the description of it was not incorrect. 8 of the 10 songs do have heavy guitars.
The guitar work is very good. But lyrically, some things are... Wow, huh?
Okay. So maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not
my
just
initial
me.
thought is this is the 4th part of the rock opera.
Of Autumn?
Of Autumn.
It's... I don't know if I'd go that far, because that's definitely an insult. But it's not too far off.
Exactly.
Here's
That was my initial. More songs have grown on me as I've listened to it more.
But it's still not great.
But it's still not great.
Let me ask you this. Let's not make this a straight review. We'll discuss some of the songs, but let's discuss Smashing Pumpkins overall. Okay? Because we saw them in concert, 2 years ago?
Yeah, and it fucking rocked
They
out.
were amazing. Amazing.
Incredible.
Why can't I get that same feeling from them when I listen to one of their albums?
I don't know.
I agree with everything
That's the conundrum.
You said. I agree with... Billy Corgan doesn't sing like a mushmouth. Like if you go back to the 80s and listen to R.E.M's Murmur, Michael Stipe, you can't understand a single thing he's saying. But at the same time, I listen to this and I go,
I can't understand what he's fucking singing.
And he sings clearly, but because he's got all these religious references, and I know somewhere, somehow, he's talking about Jesus and the crucifixion, and I get the fact that maybe this is an album that's very heavy on religious iconography, but oh my God, I can't understand 5 words a song.
I know it's very.
He's very nasally,
more so than he usually, and that's my biggest issue. Is the vocals are not clear and don't come through well.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy.
Not on this. Not
on this. We are copacetic on this one.
Because I will say I liked it more than Autumn.
Oh, absolutely.
It is heavier. It rocks more. The first song, Eden, best song on the album.
I don't know
like Eden?
It was okay.
See, I thought it was great. I thought there was a lot of good guitar changes and riffs.
I love the guitar work overall, but the guitar work was great, but overall it's just I liked War Dream of Itself.
I knew you would.
It's got that.
That's
that
the closest to
harder
metal.
edge.
That's the closest one to metal.
It is, but I also
album.
liked, what was it, the third one, Sigomi?
I didn't like that as much. No.
So
I mean, it was okay. It was okay. I can basically say that on every song where the guitars were featured. The 2 where they weren't, I hated. Pentecost and Murnau.
Oh, Murnau was...
But those were the 2 where they went back to the Autumn sound.
Yeah.
More keyboard heavy, more mellow. The other 8 rock to differing levels, to differing extents.
Yeah.
Go with The Fall is a little more pop rocky.
Yeah, that one was okay. Not horrible.
But again, I agree with you. It's too hard to discern what Billy Corgan is trying to say.
Yeah.
You pull out snippets like at the beginning of Who Goes There. He starts talking about postcards from the cross. So then I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a commentary on the crucifixion and religion.
But then this other snippet you pick up, not quite. It's sad the vocals do not come through well. I really would love to have heard the lyrics come through.
And then people
more.
will say, why don't you just turn on lyrics on Spotify?
Because that's not the point.
I don't want to read a song.
I don't want to read the lyrics. I want to hear them sung. I want them clean.
Pentagrams, the second song, you get because he says, what, love never dies 15, 20 times.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Okay.
Great.
Wonderful.
I have listened to this album probably, because I've been listening to it for a while now, ever since it came out around Thanksgiving. I probably listened to it 10, 12 times, and I keep going back and forth. None of the songs are truly great.
No.
But some of them go from okay to good, some go from good to okay, good to poor, poor to okay.
It's almost what mood you're in with this one. I had a really difficult time trying to rate this one.
At times I thought this wouldn't be bad background music.
Yeah, and other times you're like, is this something I could regularly listen to?
And I will say this. Maybe this is the best criticism I can give. I tried to listen to it one more time today. Jumped in halfway through because usually you
get a
listen
different,
to
not
the
straight
first half.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more in the second half because you have to go off and do something. So I started in on War Dreams of Itself, song 5. I figured I'd listen to the back end of it.
Yeah.
I got through about 3 songs, and I said, I can't. I've got to. I turned on Soundgarden. I wanted to listen to Down on the Upside. I just had to put something on that I know was good.
Every time I've listened to it, I think, oh God, this is, and then I'm like, all right, this isn't bad, and then it's like, no, it's really not, and then it's not happening.
There are times when you and I do not see eye to eye, but you have summed up my exact feelings about this. I will give it a 2. I'll give it 2 frenzies.
It's a 2 for sure because it's just, eh.
Yeah. And
There's stuff
we're
I
not
like,
trying to rip on
but
Smashing
not,
Pumpkins, but maybe
we have
they
higher
are,
maybe we have too high
or
expectations.
maybe they're great live and they're not
a studio.
right, as opposed to a band like the Cars back in the day,
Who were the studio, but not a
great
concert.
live. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, cannot recommend a Gory Mori Me.
No, sorry. We
Yep.
tried.
It's not a disaster.
Repeatedly,
But two frenzies is all I can give it.
Yeah.
Now, a couple other things in the world of rock and roll before we move on. Dave did not want to indulge in this. I can't necessarily blame him because it was 3 hours long, but he did miss out. I will say this. As I watched last Monday night, SNL, ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of SNL music.
I was going to, but buddy called that I hadn't hung out with in a while. He needed time to talk.
And plus, it's a big commitment, 3 hours.
3 hours is a big commitment. I fully intended to watch it live. I don't know that I will go back to try to, because let's face it, Saturday Night Live musical acts, probably less than half of something that I would enjoy.
Now, see, I went into a lot of detail on this.
Good Lord, man.
Not knowing if you were going to actually watch this or not, because, of course, Dave and I do almost all of this off the cuff. We have a vague idea what we're going to review and what we're going to do, and other than that, the reviews, the opinions, we basically surprise each other on. So I did not know if you were going to watch it or not. So I kind of broke the show down. Again, 3 hours. I'm not going to go into...
Did it go chronological?
No.
Or did they jump around?
No, they did. They basically did different themes. I know that sounds bad, but it wasn't bad.
No, I would have... If it had gone chronological from beginning to where we are now, or if they tried
then you would have skipped the last hour.
Probably. Or if they would have done, like, the top 50 or top 100 or whatever.
No, they did a really good job, but I had 2 big problems. And again, I'm not going to go into massive detail on this, especially since Dave didn't watch it, but they covered a lot of the really fun stuff. Eddie Murphy doing James Brown.
Oh, really?
Yep, in the hot tub.
I thought it would have been the musical acts.
No, it was a combination.
Acts.
It was a really cool combination.
So you had a lot of the blues. You had the Blues
Brothers.
The Blues Brothers,
big time. Big time. Blues Brothers were in it.
John Belushi is Cochran.
John Belushi got a lot of notification. Joe Cocker. Yes, his impression of Joe Cocker. The problems I had. And number one, I blame NBC for number one. For being greedy assholes.
Is it NBC or is it Lorne Michaels?
I think.
Or are they one and the same?
It was NBC because what is the one? I can ask you. I can ask the audience. What is the one music sketch? We're not just talking about performances. We're also talking about the sketches. What's the one music sketch above all others pertaining to music that you would think would be on this?
You would think you would have Wayne's World at some point.
They did. They had the Wayne's World where they talked to Aerosmith.
Okay.
But you're missing the obvious one. Involving a certain band and a certain producer named Bruce Dickinson.
They didn't do...
There was no mention of cowbell.
No cow... How do you not do cowbell?
I'll tell you why. Because they're greedy fucks. There is a documentary they released on Peacock 2 weeks ago. 5-part documentary. Right. that one of the episodes is all about that skit, so they didn't bother to mention it at all. I can't believe that. Show it for 15 seconds.
That is awful marketing.
Show it for 15
That is
seconds.
horrible marketing. If you want people to watch that, you need to include it in this.
Yeah,
that is iconic.
Absolutely.
Cowbell is iconic.
Not one mention of the Blue Oyster Cult cowbell sketch. Because they want you to watch we spent enough time doing a full episode about it. We're not going to put it in the 50-year anniversary.
It needs
special?
to be part of the 50-year, because then you could have made a mention that it's
you could put a little teaser down at the bottom. Said, for more on this sketch, check out Peacock.
Check out the Peacock full episode dedicated to...
Yeah, not one mention of the cowbell sketch.
That is a missed opportunity.
And I'm telling you, that was the biggest
That is a missed opportunity.
The other problem I had, way too much Tom Morello.
Oh, God.
And they celebrated Rage Against the Machine and how this made me so mad. If you guys have not listened to this podcast over the years,
we fucking hate Rage Against the Machine.
They were on an episode with Steve Forbes. Remember Steve Forbes? And of course it was the whole, we're cool, we protest everything. And then Steve Forbes, of course, was ultra conservative establishment.
Right.
And Morello's telling the story about how they wanted to perform with upside down American flags on the speakers, and SNL didn't want them to, so they were ripping the flags off at the last minute. And then after they performed, they actually balled up, the bass player balled up, or ripped up a bunch of American flags and balled them up and threw them across the hall into the dressing room of Steve Forbes.
Oh.
And of course he was out on stage, so he almost hit his family. His family members were in there. And Morello's telling the story like, isn't this great? Isn't this so much fun? Aren't we great to protest stuff? And I'm like, I want to punch you in the face. I don't care how great of a guitar player you are.
You're a douchebag.
And he's well spoken. And he really is. And that's the thing that makes me so mad, is you have obviously a high level of intelligence, and you're such a pussbag that you would celebrate. And protest is so awesome. Protest is so great. And then we get the Sinead O'Connor stuff, which I knew was coming. But Tom Morello is such a prick. He is such a phony prick. Celebrating the fact that his bass player could have injured somebody in Steve Forbes' family.
Because they're assholes.
So we're protesting capitalism.
No, you're a couple of asshats.
Protest my fist in your face, you jackass. I've never liked you, and this is why. And he ruined like half an hour for me.
Oh,
it didn't go on for half an hour, but I was just so mad because they spent about half an hour on controversies and protests and things that got screwed up. Elvis Costello came out one time and played a song and stopped after 20 seconds because he realized he was talking about Nazis and the Holocaust, and then went into a more upbeat song.
Oops.
And then personally for me, to wrap this up, I will give the show, by the way, a solid 3 Frenzies. Other than these complaints, it was very well done. And it did not dwell a lot on the last 20 years, which I loved.
Because the last 20 years have kind of sucked.
It was more about the mid-'70s until about 1995.
Oh, when it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, so were smart enough to focus on that era. We get a little bit of current stuff. Bowen Yang, what a fucking flamer he is, by the way. Talk about token gay guy who's been on the show for like 8 or 9 years, and they got to give him all his time. But selfishly, there were certain performances or certain clips that I was waiting for. And I had to wait until the very end of the show. Finally, over the closing credits, they showed Eddie Van Halen. Now, Van Halen never played Saturday Night Live, but Eddie sat in a couple times with the band.
With the band, yeah.
And before that, they showed our boys Living Color.
Nice.
So we got a little bit of Living Color in there too. So, they redeemed themselves at the end where I got those two bands, those performers, and I was like, okay, they weren't stupid enough to ignore Living Color and Van Halen. Jack White, my God, he got so much screen time, it was ridiculous.
Oh, come on.
I guess he was the first guy to come on during the pandemic. It was supposed to be Morgan Wallen, and Morgan Wallen canceled out at the last minute so they had to call Jack White up 2 days before the show was supposed to air.
He said, fuck it, why not?
I know we were talking about, his tour last year and $100 a ticket.
Yeah.
He would be phenomenal to see, though. I mean, he played a little bit of Eruption on his performance, just about a 10-second snippet. I was like, oh, God, I would love to see him live. But, yeah.
Not $100 for a standing room only show.
No,
Sorry, not gonna do it.
But yeah, you got the Ashley Simpson lip sync controversy. Kanye
Didn't they have
West.
Milli Vanilli on too at one point?
They never mentioned Milli Vanilli. No, they mentioned Kanye West and all the bullshit he pulled. Then they mentioned, of course, Dick in a Box. How can you not love Dick in a Box? Yeah, we got the Blues Brother. Adam Sandler got a couple minutes for the Hanukkah song. Opera Man. So it was fun. It was fun. I had a good time watching it.
Okay.
So, not necessarily an absolute must-see, but at the same time, definitely a good retrospective.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for some Van Halen news?
Sure, what's going on now?
Nothing bad. First off, I do this every year. This past Sunday, January the 26th, of course, Connor's birthday, your son.
Yep.
He shares it with the greatest guitar player of all time, Mr. Eddie Van Halen. So every year I acknowledge not only Connor's birthday, but
that of Edward Van Halen.
And when last year Van Halen put out this massive box set celebrating their album For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, they happened to slip in a bonus disc, which I believe we talked about, a free concert that the band put together in 1991 because Sammy Hagar opened his big fat yap when his voice wasn't good and said, "We promise we're coming back and we'll play for free."
Dumbass.
So, of course, the Van Halen brothers were not happy, but they did it. Van Halen Live in Dallas, 1991, will be released separately as its own CD on March the 28th. That might be something we would have to review. Even though we don't normally review live stuff and greatest hits.
No, but it is Van Halen.
Speaking of Van Halen, years and years, you remember years, I mean, we're talking decades ago, when they announced Rocklahoma, I was...
Oh, sweet Lord have mercy.
I was so geeked. I think I badgered you and said, we got to go to Rocklahoma. We're going for 3 days. We're going to go rock out.
We got the tent, we're going. Probably good that we didn't, in hindsight.
Well, now I want to go to Maryland. Now I want to go to the M3 Festival in Maryland. Because I am telling you, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this thing looks tremendous. Friday night, Sebastian Bach. Saturday night, David Lee Roth. Sunday night, Warren DeMartini and Stephen Pearcy back together.
Motherfuckers.
And they are talking about not only doing this show, but playing new music, getting in the studio.
If Martini and Percy can get...
That's the closest you're going to get to a Rat reunion. That's the closest you're going to get. And I'm not even discussing the fact that Warrant's playing this, Lita Ford's playing this. Oh my God. I mean, Slaughter's there. It's not just... Those are the three headliners. Friday night Bach, Saturday night DLR, Sunday DeMartini and Pearcy. We're going to Maryland, baby.
I did get to see Slaughter.
See, I've never seen Slaughter. Never seen him.
I got to see him.
Great White's going to be there. Yep. So, just something to keep in mind.
Yep, I did get to see the original Great White lineup.
Yeah, I never got to see that. I've seen the split. I've seen Jack Russell, God rest his soul, recently left us, and then the new Great White lineup.
Yeah, so I've seen Great White 3 times, the original, the Jack Russell, and then the offshoot.
Yep.
Or the band with the new singer.
There you go. And unfortunately, that's what Warrant, same thing.
Yeah, we don't have.
No Janie Lane.
We've seen them without Janie Lane.
Yep.
Alas.
All right, let's move on from music. Let's do some news. Let's do some news before we get into our reviews, because the reviews are going to take up a
Good
big
evening,
chunk
Mr.
of
and
the
Mrs.
middle.
America and all the ships at sea.
You are so sick you're doing Walter Winchell?
Hey, whatever. It's a throwback for the kids.
Well, you want to know who's sick? M. Night Shyamalan, that's who's sick. This is brand new, just came out today. He has announced his next film. It is going to be...
Pandemic?
Let's just say this was... If I didn't have 7 dumbasses already lined up
This
for the
would
end
be
of the show...
number 8.
He has got a supernatural romantic thriller lined up for his next movie, starring one Jake Gyllenhaal. Okay? That's not the worst part of it, though. Okay? That might sound bad enough.
That is bad enough.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. As he writes the screenplay for this supernatural romantic thriller, starring again Jake Gyllenhaal, Nicholas Sparks will be writing an independent novel based on the same idea.
Oh, sweet God Almighty! It just this is like the third ring of hell right now.
Should I have put this in the dumbass?
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely.
Okay, we'll include this. We will. Dave doesn't like this. He thinks it's a dumbass.
Fucking Nicholas Sparks is writing it up. Oh my God, Nicholas Sparks is a fucking hack.
So again, as Shyamalan writes a screenplay, Sparks writes the novel about the same idea. So they will be similar, but not necessarily connected.
Oh, my brain hurts.
Oh, it's going to get worse. Trust me.
Oh,
we haven't even got to the dumbasses yet. And we've already got one. We've already just stumbled into one.
Oh, I thought there was more about this stupid thing.
Why would I need to add any more to that? No,
oh, Lord.
No, but I've got more stupid stuff coming that might actually, you might end up pushing us into double digits if you listen to some more of these.
And you wonder why I'm bald, the way I have to rub my head to deal with life.
Why do you think I have a bald spot on the back of my head? I call that Amy. This is what I call that. That's an inside sports radio joke. Oh, Netflix. Come on. We love Netflix, but they're pushing things. They're pushing things a bit too far. Prices going up again.
Come on! Stop having to pay for the WWE.
That's what I was going to get to. Now, the prices are going up. Now, I'm a cheap bastard. So, I have the ads version. So, mine goes up $1. So, I will be paying $8 a month starting February the 27th. You, of course, being rich and wealthy.
Not quite.
You probably have what, the standard?
We have the standard.
So, that goes up to $18 a month.
It started at 10!
I think this is $2.50 increase from where you are right now.
Fuckers.
And if you have the premium, $25 a month.
Good
It's
God.
not worth. That's not worth it.
No. We may have to drop back to the ads.
But as you were saying, just like I bitched and pissed and moaned a month ago about YouTube TV, and we're all paying for the Sunday ticket, even if we don't have it, I think you're onto something. I think this is all tied into the NFL games, the Christmas games, and WWE.
Boom.
Or could it be
Greed?
the just announced Netflix reboot of Little House on the Prairie? Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes, Netflix has announced.
They're remaking Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
You do not fuck with Michael Landon, damn it!
Well, they are. They are.
You stupid sons of bitches!
And again, I'm trying to stay away from looking at comments on these stories, but when I looked at the comments, even the liberal fucktards who visit this website where I get a lot of the entertainment news, even these idiots are going, you really shouldn't fuck with Little House on the Prairie.
Leave Michael Landon's opus alone, damn it!
Trailers! Lots of cool trailers and things this week. Kind of, sort of. A little teaser out there, not really all that much, 20, 30 seconds for Alien Earth. Not really much to speak of, just kind of shows the ship getting ready to crash on our planet. Hell of a Summer, looks like it could be interesting. Paying homage to the old school slasher flicks.
We like old school slasher flicks.
Yep.
Lots of blood and TNA.
That's what this looks like it could be. I believe it's Finn Wolfhard, the kid from Stranger Things.
Right.
He is in charge of this. He's become a little bit of a Hollywood entrepreneur. He's producing and writing a lot of stuff lately.
Good for him, expanding his horizons. Lord knows he's old enough now.
Yeah.
What, is he, 40?
Yeah. By the time they air Stranger Things Season 5, he'll be in AARP.
We might be dead.
Don't say that!
It's gonna be, what, 20 more years before it gets released?
Remember what I said about We Will Live Forever?
Oh yeah, we are immortal.
Yes. That's what this podcast, we will live forever. Through this, they will find this. The aliens will find this. What is this Red Foreman dumbasses of the week he talks about so much? And they seem to enjoy it so much.
Knock it off or we'll put a boot up your ass.
Mickey 17. Have you seen the ads for this?
I have not.
Mickey 17, this could go either way. Mickey 17 stars Robert Pattinson.
Ugh.
In this futuristic story about, I think he's been cloned 17 times.
Oh, God.
And so they put his clones through all these different torturous experiments, which reminds me of something we're getting to in a few minutes. Secret Level. One of those stories.
Yep. Could it be...
Like I said, the previews, it looks like it could go either way. It could be
Guess
really
which
good.
way I'm leaning.
Happy Face coming to Paramount Plus.
Is this like Smile 3?
No, but it does involve Dennis Quaid as a serial killer.
Ooh. Dennis Quaid does not play the bad guy. So that's a nice little change of pace.
And
I'm intrigued by that thought.
I believe I mentioned to you off mic that the trailer is out for The White Lotus, season 3, and all I could think about was which woman is going to be naked. And I'm betting on Michelle Monaghan. Probably not. I don't think she does that type of stuff, but...
The money's right.
By God, one of these women will be naked.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Of course, Walton Goggins, the great Walton Goggins is in this, so... And it looks darker. It looks a little bit more like a murder mystery, so...
Very cool there.
And then finally, I am going to call out an advertisement. Yes, there's already a Super Bowl ad out there. The ad is out there. And God help me, I've watched it 4 or 5 times. Because that's how sick and demented I am. One of my favorite movies of all time. My favorite romantic comedy of all time is, of course, When Harry Met Sally.
Overrated.
Oh, you suck ass. You suck. Oh, my God. Smelly, stinky ass.
It's overrated.
No, it's not. It is a sweet, gorgeous, fun movie. And I cry at the end. Just like with Forrest Gump. So anyway, the iconic scene in the deli.
Right. Yeah.
They bring back Billy and Meg for Hellman's Mayonnaise. And they do the whole thing with Billy Crystal has some great lines, and then there's a little twist at the end. If you remember from the movie, remember the woman who says, I'll have
what she's having?
That is what, Billy Crystal's mom, I think?
I think so.
Somebody else does that line. That is alone worth watching the ad for. And then I, as a marketing genius, which I went to school for, came up with a brilliant sequel ad. But if you haven't watched it, it's wasted on you. It's wasted on you. And I'm not going to spoil the big twist ending.
I have not seen the commercial yet.
Well, if you hate When Harry Met Sally, I don't want you to watch it.
Well, I won't, so...
Good! All right, so now we'll move on to TV and streaming. And Dave and I have got not one but 2 reviews for you this week. We are going to look at American Primeval, 6-episode limited series on Netflix, and Secret Level Season 1, these 15 little video game vignettes. So let's start off with Secret Level.
Yep. Let's roll right in there.
And as I was telling Dave off mic, you almost have to review this like you would review an album.
Yeah, there's no cohesion. Everything is separate.
Yeah. Like 15 songs, 15 stories. Favorites, should we look at the favorites versus the ones we didn't like all that much? And I'll tell you this, I looked at the reviews on IMDb, and I'm almost completely opposite. It's amazing. Because I look more for the quality and the originality of the animation first.
Right.
So, God help me, I like Spelunky.
I like Spelunky. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that got awful ratings online. And I thought...
Of course it would.
It basically... the animation I love, because it almost looked like a combination of drawing.
It's a cross between Tomb Raider and Dora the Explorer.
Right. And the thing is, it buys into the whole video game thing where it's all about your lives and what do you do with the lives you've got in the game.
Do you learn, and how soon do you learn to advance through?
Right. So I thought now I'm not saying it was the best.
No,
but it was fun.
It wrapped up the adventure video games beautifully.
And see, I didn't like Warhammer.
I thought Warhammer was eh.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly impressed with Warhammer.
And that was the one that everybody loved.
I loved Sifu.
Yes. I was going to say.
The second one.
The first one.
Sifu, It Takes a Life. Oh my God, I love that one.
But again, and that one kind of, again, addresses, like a handful of these do, the whole, you've got X number of lives, like you do in a regular video game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I thought Sifu was awesome. Now, D&D, the first one, Dungeons & Dragons, pulled me in.
That was very good. That was well done.
I think it was a very, very good one to be the first one to draw you in.
That one and Sifu, I think, had the best storylines to pull you in and run through.
Yeah, I think D&D, again, was the perfect one to start off with. You're bringing people in with a game that everybody knows, basic structure, here are your different types of characters, all uniting for a common cause. And then you get to the Sifu in the second one, which is a game I've never heard of. But just the story and the animation was fantastic. That was one of my favorites. Now, you do have big-name guest stars throughout this. You've got Arnold Schwarzenegger in New World.
Yep.
You've got Keanu Reeves in Armored Core.
I love the Armored Core.
And then you have... I liked Armored Core. I thought that was pretty good.
That was very cool.
Yep, and then at the end you get Kevin Hart in Playtime, which sucked.
Oh, that was probably one of the worst.
Although I did like how they tried to wrap things up, bringing in the different characters. You got the God of War, you got Assassin's Creed.
You had everybody in there.
Yeah.
It was kind of the montage.
Right. I think my favorite one was The Outer Worlds, though.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
As you and I were talking about earlier, the whole story idea of...
Oh, she's my best friend. I'm going to go find her and reconnect.
And then you go through unbelievable amounts of
misery
torture and pain. But yeah, the naivete of it.
Yeah.
It was very twisted but fun. Had a little bit of a Fallout vibe to it.
Yeah, it did.
The Mega Man one was just pointless.
It's just like real...
It was too short, number one.
Yeah, there wasn't enough substance.
It's supposed to be an origin story for Mega Man. And it was, 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was the shortest one of all of them?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it needed to be a lot longer.
Yeah.
Exodus.
Pac-Man was a disappointment.
Pac-Man was weird.
It was
Pac-Man
just
was weird.
Bizarre.
I didn't hate it, but yeah, I didn't know what they were trying to do with that.
Yeah, it was just way the hell out there.
Exodus, the one after Mega Man, I thought that one had the potential to be expanded to a full-on movie.
Oh my God,
I think they were trying to cram that.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
They crammed that entire story into 15 minutes.
Yeah,
and
that was a phenomenal tale.
Yeah, where the father is trying to find the daughter, and they're going back and forth through time warps, and he's aging more, she's aging more.
The back and forth was just incredible.
Yeah. The rest of them,
meh.
Unreal Tournament was okay. Concord, I thought was kind of a lame Guardians of the Galaxy type of redo.
Yeah, it was kind of a knockoff.
Yeah. Honor of Kings had potential with the whole living city idea.
Yeah, and it just kind of fell flat, though.
It was okay. It was just okay. So overall, I will give Secret Level a ton of credit for its imagination.
The animation was phenomenal on most of it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You had to take your time with it. You can't sit down and watch all 15 of these.
No, you can't watch it straight through. You have to break it up. You can watch 3 or 4 at a time.
Right. Because, again, there's no narrative thread, all different styles. It's kind of a jolt to you if you try to watch all of these back to back to back to back. But taking it as a whole,
I
it's
love
fun.
the
It's
concept.
very fun.
It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And we are going to get a season 2, so I'll be. You want Red Dead Redemption? I know you do.
Oh hell yeah!
I would.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I would love to see that too. Red Dead Redemption in this would be absolutely fantastic.
As I mentioned earlier, I got together with my buddy Jason, and we got on talking about video games that we were playing and everything, and what we've played over the last year, and Red Dead 2.
Yep.
The favorite that we both agreed upon.
Yep.
Great story, character you could get behind. Just brilliantly done.
Now the weird thing about this coming up with season 2 is going to be finding video games that they haven't already turned into TV shows or movies.
Right. Be very interesting to see what we get.
I will give this a solid 3 frenzies.
Yep, solid 3. It's worth watching if you're a video game fan. You will get something out of this. You'll recognize stuff throughout.
Yep. Yeah, and the thing is,
it's worth your time.
Yeah, it's a recommendation. I can't give it higher than 3 because these are hit and miss. And that's the nature of what you're going to get here with an anthology. Is not every story is going to be fantastic.
Even if you go back to one of our favorite anthologies, Heavy Metal,
or you
can
go
even
back,
be hit and miss.
You can go back to the Twilight Zone,
or
more modern
Cat's Eye, or
Black Mirror
Show, Black Mirror.
Yep.
You're going to have some clunkers in there.
Yep. Now our other full review this week is American Primeval.
The Peter Berg led.
Mr. Berg. Sorry, Seinfeld.
Yep.
I can't
you
let
can't
that pass.
help it. An homage to the Western.
I have so much to say about this, and I know we don't want to ramble on, but
all I'm gonna say is, it's the old American West. You really never would have gotten a happy ending.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, you're not getting a happy ending.
You're not getting happy endings out of this one, kid. This is hardcore.
It is
throughout.
It is violent. It is brutal. It is depressing.
But it's so fucking good. It's very well
This
done.
reminded me of if you took your darkest Clint Eastwood Western, whether you want to go Hang 'em High,
Outlaw Josie Wales,
and combined it with Bone Tomahawk.
Yes.
This is what you get.
It's raw.
And like Dave said, you start watching this, let's put it this way. Out of the main characters you're introduced to, 15% are going to survive.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's not happy, sunny, everybody who's good
it's not kumbaya.
And everybody who's bad dies. Okay? But most people do die in this. Sorry. Spoiler alert.
There's a lot of death.
Yeah. I enjoyed it very much, despite the fact it is so ungodly depressing.
But that's what made it. That's what it was.
I think you liked it more than me because I couldn't get over how dark and depressing this was. My God. I think my breaking point, despite the fact that I hated the woman that Taylor Kitsch is escorting.
Yeah.
She is such a pain in the ass. I will not listen to you. I will do what I
know what I'm doing, and it causes more problems.
And then when we got to the point where she got herself captured by the French Mongoloids. No, I'm not kidding, kids. French Mongoloids.
Yeah. Her stupidity cost her.
Yes, and at that point, I was just like, oh my God, this is just over the top with the violence and the degradation. I mean, I didn't stop watching it, but it changed my perspective on it.
You have to think this is people at their base back then
And
trying
then,
to survive.
Then you've got the Mormons who they portray
oh
as
my
just
god,
out and out evil. Now, in terms of the performances, I have one in particular that I absolutely loved above all others, and that was Shea Wiggum as the guy who was running Fort Bridger.
Oh, Bridger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shea Wiggum was fucking brilliant. He was phenomenal.
He gets some of the best lines as he's trying to fight off the Mormons, trying to take over his fort.
The best line as he's walking out of his house as it's burning. I really have grown fond of this blade as he takes his shovel.
Yes, a shovel that he used to basically maim one of the Mormons. But he gets so many great lines.
Oh, he is
pipe.
The best character by far.
Yes.
Other than Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah. But they're different characters.
Yeah.
Shea Wiggum, almost you could say, is the moral center of the entire series.
Yeah.
Whereas Taylor Kitsch is your Clint Eastwood, he's the man with no name,
Yeah, he's been through the shit. And
it takes a while to dig in to find his heart.
Yeah.
And
he is, you could see the outlaw Josie Wales in him.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, it's just everybody is put through the ringer on this. Dane DeHaan, oh my God.
Jesus.
What he has to do in this entire series, I give him a ton of credit. And I don't want to say any more because that's a spoiler.
But damn.
Yeah. In his search for his wife. Oh my God. And constantly being betrayed. And you got bounty hunters. You've got Indians. You've got
the U.S. Army.
And then, oh my God, that was the other one. That was the other moment.
Waxing poetic.
Yes.
As he's writing and
as he finishes off his journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other moment. The woman pushing things too far with the French Mongoloids, and then the general in the army as he's writing in his journal, and then they're showing something else happening with him, and I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Is this really?
Does this come with a Xanax prescription?
And, the Shoshone tribe. First part, before you got more of Red Feather's bit, as he's dealing with that first situation that they come upon after his no-nonsense bullshit dealing with stuff. Nick and I look at each other, we look at each other, go, oh yeah, we like this guy. He doesn't take shit. And then we're like, he's kind of, but in the end.
Now, I will say this, and this is the cynical bastard in me. I do get a little tired, and you see this in other movies with other culture clashes. I get a little tired of the noble Indian who never does anything wrong. And we're all...
No, they acknowledge what he does wrong.
I still think they portrayed him as much more
noble
and noble, yes, than everybody else.
Which he wasn't, obviously.
Technically, if you want to pick the army, was actually probably in this particular series the most noble of the groups.
Yes, the U.S. Army was the most noble because
they were trying to run things.
Who were the major problem trying to resolve it?
They were not trying to persecute the Indians.
No.
They were trying to find a solution that benefited everybody.
Yeah.
And then you get those evil fucking Mormons! Sorry, we love the Mormons. And everybody gets 15 wives. Love it. Love it. But boy, Brigham Young.
Damn you,
wow.
Brigham Young. You were a... And yeah, we'll just leave it. Some of this is based on historical stuff.
And that's something I want to get into later as well. I did want to delve a little bit more into the history on this to see what was accurate, what was not. But this felt, for the most part, true.
I think it was based on accounts.
I again,
but I have to delve into it a little bit more.
I loved it. I love Peter Berg as a director. He does a great job with the visuals. He does an unbelievable job pushing the narrative through these 6 episodes. Again, if it wasn't so overwhelmingly depressing and dark, I would give it 3.5. I'm going to give it a strong 3, for instance.
I have to go 3.5. I think you had to have the dark to drive the point home of what it was like out there.
Yeah, this is a movie to slit your wrist by, is what this is.
It is, but it's so damn good.
No, it is very good.
And
again, I'm
incredible.
trying to give as much credit as I can to the actors and Peter Berg for doing the opening episode with that massacre.
Was unfrickin' believable. The cinematography that he pulled off with that was phenomenal.
Yep, and I mean, you can just go on and on. For 6 episodes, you're talking about roughly 6 hours.
Yeah.
What he crams into this,
Episode
coyotes
5
and
was
wolves
only a half hour.
Yeah, everything that they cram into this is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's I cannot get over the cinematography, the way he pulled every
visually
shot
stunning.
off. It's
visually stunning,
spectacular. Even the non-action sequences, the vistas, the shots that you see.
Can I tell you something personally for you and me? At the end, I felt like I was watching terriers. She goes right or left. I go right or left. Except it wasn't L.A. or Mexico. It was the little city or the West
California.
Coast. Yep. I thought, oh my God, that's the Terriers' decision.
But no, they did give the final of what they were doing.
Yes, they did.
At least we got that. Yeah.
But
they didn't leave us hanging.
But I was thinking that's the same decision. Yeah. Roughly the same decision.
Yep.
But very, very good. Both of us recommend it. Don't
highly recommended.
All I'm saying is take your antidepressants beforehand.
It's not Primeval for nothing.
Yep. Yeah, very appropriately named.
Yes.
And Dave and I will now start looking forward with our Paramount Plus subscriptions. We're going to knock out Tulsa King Season 2 and Landman Season 1.
Yep, over the next couple weeks we'll try and get those knocked out.
And the wonderful assets of Allie Larder. Woo! I just got through episode 3, kids.
She pretty.
Got into episode 4. Yes.
You want to get into Allie?
I don't know if they're real, but they're spectacular. Woo! So we're going to work on those shows coming up here. And of course, Saturday night's main event. Not really much to discuss. But next week, I will recap the Royal Rumble for you. Down in Indianapolis, Indiana. We should have been there. We're waiting for WrestleMania.
Yes,
we're waiting for WrestleMania. Believe it'll be 2026.
We got time.
Yep. 2 nights of WrestleMania glory. All right. Now, last week, you kids know that I went through the Oscar nominations, and I was not going to put your Uncle Dave through that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We did the Golden Globes, and I figured that was enough. But I didn't want to leave him completely out in the cold, so I figured let's have some fun with the Razzies.
We like the Razzies.
The worst movies of the year.
Now, let's see which of these we would actually maybe subject ourselves to.
Well, I know I've watched a couple of these. Not necessarily the worst picture nominees, but some of the acting stuff. So the worst picture nominees of the Razzies are Borderlands, Joker, Folie à Deux, Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan. Now, Reagan, that just reeks to me of them being bitter assholes.
Yes, it does.
But
of those, Borderlands is the one I want to see.
I don't know if I'm going to watch any of those. I don't know if I'm going to watch any of maybe the comic book movies just because I'm a completist and I have to, for better or for worse.
Sucker!
I have not watched Joker yet. I have not watched Madam Web yet. So am I a sucker if I want to watch Craven?
No, Craven I want to fucking watch.
But Craven's getting as bad a reviews as Madam Web.
And I don't know why. The boys went to see Craven and absolutely loved it.
I don't know. I don't get it either. Now we move on to actor. We both think Dear Santa looks interesting.
Yes, I want to see Dear Santa with Jack Black.
And he's up for worst actor.
Oh, it's got to go to Zachary Levi, hands down, no matter what.
It's not even a Shazam movie.
I know, but it's Zachary Levi. He sucks. He's horrible.
Now, here's my issue here. In the worst actor. Okay, it's not so much that Jerry Seinfeld is nominated, but I liked Unfrosted. Unfrosted was fun. The problem is you got a bunch of snowflake Gen Zers voting on this shit. People our age, I'm telling you, you would love Unfrosted because of the homage to all the 60s and 70s. The cereals and the toys and everything. It's fun. I take umbrage with this. I will admit Jerry Seinfeld is no great actor. But don't pick on Unfrosted.
And leave Dennis Quaid the hell alone.
Again, it's Reagan. Actresses, most of this I can see. Cate Blanchett, Academy Award winning actress. You know.
It was in Borderlands, so they're probably, she degraded herself for this role.
I will tell you one that I agree with. Now, I have not seen Dakota Johnson in Madam Web yet. She's an awful actress.
Oh, she's not.
So good. I'm not but Bryce Dallas Howard, I watched Argyle. That's well deserved. That's well deserved. I find her very cute.
But she's not a good actress.
No, she's an awful actress. Awful.
She's kind of a one-trick pony with the way she portrays herself.
Yeah. There's nepotism involved here, too.
No.
Keep that in mind. Supporting actor, Jack Black again. This time for his voice in Borderlands.
Kevin Hart in Borderlands.
I love this one. Shia LaBeouf in drag in Megalopolis.
But again, John Voight, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times.
And then we'll run through the rest of them real quick. There you got Ariana DeBose,
Argyle, and Craven. Come
wow.
on.
Screen combo I always find funny. Any 2 obnoxious characters from Borderlands. Then again, any 2 unfunny comedic actors from Unfrosted. Stop picking on Unfrosted. It wasn't that bad.
The entire cast of Megalopolis.
How would you feel if you had this one great idea that you thought was so brilliant and you spent decades and decades
putting it together and it was a major flop?
That is Megalopolis and Francis Ford Coppola.
That tells you what Francis Ford Coppola really is.
And then this one's always good. Prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel. And of course, it's all basically almost all comic book movies. The Crow, Joker, Craven,
Mufasa, and Rebel Moon 2.
So there you go, kids. That's our quick look at the Razzies. And again, my big complaints are Craven doesn't look that bad to me. We've already got...
The boys absolutely loved it.
Yep.
Come on.
And then I saw Unfrosted, and I thought it was kind of fun. Kind of cute, kind of fun.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right. Our book review for the week. This is the one Dave and I have been looking forward to discussing for a while, for better and for worse. Now, Dave, I badgered him years ago into starting the Spencer series. Robert B. Parker, the great Robert B. Parker, the iconic detective Spencer, who's been around since the 70s.
Yep, and in the year 2020, the pandemic year, I caught up with the entire series.
Unfortunately, by the time he caught up, Robert B. Parker had passed away, and then the great Ace Atkins took over.
Ace Atkins was seamless.
Yep, after Six Kill. Six Kill was the last book fully written by Robert B. Parker.
Yeah.
And then after that, Ace Atkins slid in and did a tremendous job. But of course, somehow, some way,
For some stupid reason, the Parker estate has deemed Mike Lupica Lord God writer of everything now.
he was writing the Jesse Stone series. I believe he wrote a couple Sonny Randall books. And now they've upped him to...
Spencer. Blah!
And this is what, his second?
His second. And it didn't get much better from the first.
Now, you and I probably... I think you told me your initial complaint about something that bothered you with this book. The book is hot property, by the way.
Yep.
Just came out last fall. I have other issues with him. But go ahead and tell the kids your issues, and then we'll discuss.
My big thing is with Spencer and his love,
Susan Silverman.
Susan Silverman. The language they use, they don't delve into the four-letter words.
Not that often. No. And they're very...
Very
She's Harvard educated.
infrequently.
She's Harvard educated, a psychiatrist.
Yeah. And in this, Lupica has her dropping the F-bomb multiple times. No, that is not Susan Silverman. Sorry. You fucked up right there. Yes, I'm dropping the F-bomb on you, Lupica. There are pieces you just don't get.
I understand your complaint. I don't think it bothered me quite as much as you did. It has bothered you, except for one instance where one of my complaints comes into play. In that Spencer went off on a little 3-sentence rant where he's cursing and swearing, and then he's also doing the thing that I don't like Lupica doing. Lupica tends to insert his personal political views on top of the characters.
Yes.
And in this one instance, he does both. He uses the foul language, and he's trying to preach to us a certain political viewpoint that Spencer
would not,
whether he felt that way or not, would never express it that way. Never in a million years.
Never.
He would have basically said, you live and you let live. And that's it. He would have moved on.
Yeah.
Not going off on a profane tirade in his head about...
That's not Spencer.
No. So I did not like that at all, for multiple reasons. For your reasons, and then for mine. Where Lupica likes to go off on his little political tangents every once in a while.
It has no business being in this.
I also think he's also the master of the run-on sentence.
Oh my God.
Commas were not meant to be used 5 times.
In a paragraph.
In a sentence. You know.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, a 1-sentence paragraph.
Yeah, that's what you get with this hack.
Yeah, Mike Lupica, if you don't know, is a sports writer who now thinks he is a novelist. And did you read the acknowledgments, by the way, at the end of the book?
Yes.
Did you see the very last acknowledgement?
Yeah.
He praises the worst writer on the face of the planet, James Patterson. That tells you
everything you need to know. Ugh.
I had big problems with this book. Now, I will still give it...
This should have been a straight-up Spencer Hawk revenge story straight through. And he couldn't keep it on that tightrope line.
It's bloated. It is so bloated. That was the one thing that Robert B. Parker never did.
He kept it streamlined. How many pages was this one?
About 330, 340. Parker would have got this done in 334. 305, 310.
And
Parker would have had it done.
This is smaller print than you ever got with anything that Parker did.
Yes, and we're not disparaging Parker. Parker was a master of terse, get to the point.
He conveyed everything
minimalist
in the
dialogue.
way.
He could get the point across, get the humor across, get the characters' viewpoints across in the bare minimum amount of language.
Where Lupica has to go on and on and on.
And even Ace Atkins maybe was a little bit
longer, more verbose, but nowhere near what Lupica is.
Right.
Atkins was the closest.
And then the plot, to me, was so circular. It was, we go back, talk to Rita. This is not a spoiler because this happens right away. One of the longtime characters in the Spencer books, lawyer Rita Fiore, gets shot. And of course that brings everybody in, rallying around, saying we got to find out who shot Rita.
No matter what.
But it just seems like we just go, we'll go talk to this person, then we go back and talk to Rita. Then we'll go talk to this person, go back and talk to Rita.
It's all over the place.
This could have been much better in more capable hands than what it was.
Ace Atkins would have nailed this.
Yes. Because even going back all the way back to Parker's books, he would pull this card every once in a while. He would put one of the main characters in danger, or Spencer got shot and almost killed.
Hawk
by the Gray
got
Man.
Shot and almost killed.
Yes. So that's not unfamiliar territory, but it's how you handle it. And Lupica just is a hack. He just can't do this. Now, I will say this, because of the fact that I love the characters, he still somehow keeps them somewhat close to being what they are supposed to be. I will give this a very weak 3 frenzies.
Very weak 3, because he's got the base level of it.
He does a good job with Spencer and Hawk.
Yeah. He's got the interplay between them pretty good.
Right.
But it's pulling everything else together that he just doesn't have it.
Right. So I guess this is me recommending the series.
Yes.
This is a weak entry in the series.
Do not start with Lupica. Go back to the beginning.
Right. And you almost have to now.
Oh, with the entire universe that he's put together.
You've got to find out more about these characters and who they are. If you don't know who Rita Fiore is, and Quirk, and Belson, Vinny. What was the point of Vinny, by the way? Why do you bring Vinny in and then say all of a sudden, he's got a job in Chicago, he's got
to... There
was no point to that!
No, it was just to get Vinny in the story. It was pointless.
There was no point
There was no reason for it.
You can say the same thing about Tony Marcus.
Yeah, why? Why was Marcus involved? Oh, I know the universe, I know the characters, and I can throw them in here. That's
what
it
was. That's what it seemed like.
That's what his first one was.
I did my research, so I know, like you said, all the characters in this universe.
That's what he did with the first one, is he dropped every fucking name he possibly could have.
I was halfway expecting him to fly in Teddy Sapp and Cholo and Horse.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just to show us, look, I got everybody involved now.
Well, you got Bros in there.
Yeah, he had to keep mentioning Joe Braz. Yep. And his son.
Yep.
Did they mention Geno Fish, by the way? I don't think they did.
No, they did not.
But what? And Jesse Stone? Oh my God! All of a sudden, Jesse Stone's a major character in this. Isn't that weird that I just read Jesse Stone?
Yeah.
And
of course
you had
have
finished
to.
this book, and I have just. Oh yeah, I just happened to jump back into the Jesse Stone series, and you're probably sitting there going, "Yeah, wait till you read the new Parker book for Spencer."
Yeah, I was having to bite my tongue on that one.
Wow. Yeah, he's obviously...
He's trying too damn hard.
I used to write Jesse Stone, so why not make Jesse Stone a big part of the Spencer universe now?
Because Jesse and Rita had a thing, so I gotta include him in her revenge story.
And Jesse and Sonny Randall. Because like I told you when I reviewed the last Jesse Stone book, they've turned him into a man whore. Women cannot resist the temptation of Jesse Stone.
The old alcoholic.
He's like half
chief.
sheriff or half police chief, half Chippendales model. Is what and it's getting irritating. It really is. It's degrading to and the movies, the TV shows did a better job. Whereas Jesse Stone was played by Tom Selleck. He was older.
Yeah.
He wasn't like that.
He's not the playboy.
Right. Anyway. Our recommendations are more based on the series than this particular
continuation
book.
of the characters, not the author.
All right, let's move on to our movie review of the week. Gladiator 2. So is this another unnecessary sequel like Twisters?
Yes.
Ooh. Wow, I didn't even get to finish my thought. Look at that.
My God, maybe if it would have come out within a reasonable time frame of the original. But my God, literally, it's been 22 years since the event of Maximus being killed. Oh, let's wait 22 years to do the sequel. Ridley Scott for that whole line of thinking.
Well, Ridley Scott hasn't had a great run as of late.
No.
So he needed this in terms of the box office. It did very well at the box office. Made over 170 million.
It was okay.
You know, here's the sad thing. Not only do I agree with you, but I did my IMDb thing again. I'm sorry, I did the first 10 reviews. 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6. Every review was 6 out of 10. Everybody said the same thing. It's okay. It's okay. And then the other thing that I noted before I read the reviews that they agreed with me on, Paul Mescal, no personality.
Oh, none whatsoever.
Wooden, no personality whatsoever.
No acting ability at all.
This is your lead guy.
And he's just,
He was awful.
He was bad.
He was awful.
There's nothing about him that really made you want to root
for him. He's not charismatic. He's not like Russell Crowe. He doesn't bring you in.
No, he's
and make you want to root for him. You know, you've got Denzel Washington, of course, is awesome as always. The bizarre twin emperors were interesting.
Great.
Of course, you got my man. You got my man, the one from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Munson.
Ravi was good.
Yeah. But, yeah, when your central character
is...
Your protagonist is supposed to be somebody we all want to rally around, and we all go,
and he's
whatever.
Just there. There's no charisma coming across out of him at all.
Then you don't have a great plot really behind it. Other than it's going to be the typical treachery and deceit.
Overthrow.
Right. Oh, by the way, I think it's Hollywood law that Derek Jacobi has to be in any movie involving...
I thought he was dead.
The Roman Empire.
I thought he was dead.
Going all the way back to the great I, Claudius.
Yeah.
Derek Jacobi's got to be in any movie involving Rome. I love him.
It's an unwritten rule.
Yeah. But...
But no, it was.
All right, let me ask you this. God help me. I don't want to.
Are we gonna talk about the water battle? And how fucking stupid that was.
I literally almost wanted to Google that. And I said, I will end up being blackballed from Google for being so stupid as to ask, hey, Google,
did they
actually
flood
fill
the
the Coliseum with water and put sharks in it? I started thinking logistically, where do they put the sharks? Where do they put the sharks? I'm like, oh my God.
The aqueducts don't run anywhere near there. Where did you see a fucking aqueduct?
Now, can I say this, though? In terms of bad movie moments, that could have been the coolest bad movie moment ever, because it was my favorite scene in the movie, even though I'm sitting there going, there's no fucking way! This is taking history and not only twisting it, they're just shoving it up somebody's ass.
Sideways!
It is so not the way things happened back then. I had enough trouble with the rhino.
I know.
The crazy baboons.
Oh, Jesus.
But see, those scenes were so over-the-top stupid that I loved them.
Yeah. Those were the highlights.
Because they actually injected some life, although ridiculous and silly, into the movie.
Oh, God.
Because otherwise, it is a dull slog.
It's a long 2.5-hour flick.
But I do think those scenes
There
fun.
are moments, but overall, it's just.
I'm probably going to give this a higher rating than I should, just because I did love
there were
the boat
pieces
scene,
of it.
even though it was so ridiculously illogical. And the rhino and the baboons those were so much fun. They were so stupid, but they were so much fun.
I know.
Once I realized I cannot take this as a historically serious movie, it made it a little bit better.
A little bit better. I have to give it a little higher props for Denzel.
I didn't think it was his best performance, but he's still awesome.
He's still awesome playing the psycho.
And you didn't think he was at first.
No.
He does a good job of twisting his character.
Yes.
And then again, I did like the twin nut job. And then finally you get that little line the one says towards the end, where it says the infection in his loins has spread to his brain.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, here we go. Now we're finally getting an explanation as to why he's
really
him and his monkey. It's a mediocre movie that has some ridiculously fun moments. I will give it 2.5 frenzies. I know.
I know.
I can't stay away from 2.5 on this.
It has to be a 2.5. That's right where it's at.
Yeah.
But it was we did not need it. It
now
did
I will
not
say
need
this.
to be made.
I will say this. For all the shit I gave everybody about Twisters, which I still think was completely unnecessary, at least there was a plot point in here that explained why we had to have Gladiator 2. Yeah. Twisters was just, let's throw more people out there chasing tornadoes.
Because why not?
That's the definition of an unnecessary sequel. Like putting more campers at Camp Crystal Lake.
Oh, come on. You know you want to go back.
Well, you get boobies.
Yeah. Which, disappointing in Gladiator 2. Come on, you have this twisted twin emperors, and you don't have the big debaucherous scenes.
You wanted some Caligula action.
Would you not expect it in the Roman times?
Let me call up, Malcolm McDowell for you. I still do want to see the unedited cut of Caligula at some point in time.
It is... wow.
There were moments in I, Claudius that were disturbing.
The
and that unedited...
was PBS. the unedited Caligula, you can tell what the straight movie was and what Hollander threw in the straight porn sequences.
Oh, okay.
You could tell what he cut into it.
Okay.
It was very obvious.
So it's not like the movie was made this one straight way, and he had an idea that I can make a serious movie about Caligula and then kind of make it dirty and stick in these scenes.
Yeah, there are, and what they had was bad enough.
Okay.
But then he just threw in some straight porn stuff in there.
Yeah. All right, so two tepid recommendations. Very, very tepid recommendations. Barely. For Gladiator 2. Just because it goes so off the rails at points. It's kind of fun.
So,
if somebody out there, you want to drop us a line on Spotify or on our Facebook page and explain to me how they could fill the Coliseum with water and sharks and prove me wrong, have at it.
Please drop us a line. I do have another book. Do I want to do it this week or save it for next?
Yeah, save it for next week.
We'll save it for next week.
You're sick.
I need to get out of here at a decent hour.
Yeah. So that's covered. I do want to bring up one thing. One little tidbit on books, though. My birthday. The glorious day that it is, November the 4th every year. This year will be even more special because on November the 4th, 2025, the next Jack Reacher novel's coming out. It has been announced Lee and Andrew Child, Exit Strategy, will be out November the 4th. Of course,
we're less than a month away
from
Reacher
season 3.
Season
3. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Now, have we told the kids about what we're doing next week yet? Mention the Royal Rumble. I'll recap that.
We mentioned that we're working on Landman and Tulsa King.
But we did not mention our movie review for next week.
No, we are going to go with the Kevin Smith movie, 4:30 movie.
Yep, came out late in the, fall last year?
Yep.
Roughly. Very limited theatrical release. But if it's Kevin Smith movie, you know we are there. We've got a ton of songs we're going to review for our music segment next week.
Yep.
Doobie Brothers, Spin Doctors,
Cold Stairs, Billy Gibbons.
So we got music covered. And then I will personally, oh, by the way, this will lead into my Clint Eastwood Badass of the Week. The brand new Disney Plus series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, starts up. It's out there right now. January the 29th was the debut. Your Uncle Dave, of course, a little bit of phlegm.
Won't give my money to the rat.
I have mixed emotions about this, but the reason why I have a Clint Eastwood Badass of the Week about this is the kid who's voicing Peter Parker, Hudson Thames. I got to give him credit. We all know how the rat is, since they bought Marvel and all the PC bullshit they put everybody through. This kid had the balls to say, I was worried about this show. I was worried about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I feared that it was going to end up being annoying and woke.
Oof.
And I'm like, that takes some guts.
Yes, it does.
Because you're basically telling Disney all the shit you've done since you took over Marvel has been annoying and woke.
It for everybody.
So good for him. We will see, though. I will take a little dive into this. I'll dip my toe in the water and see if this is any good. No moments of silence. Always a good thing. We don't have anybody that I have found significant in the world of pop culture who has passed. So let's move on to the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week, Dave.
Yes, let us.
Let's pivot.
Pivot to the dumbasses.
Now, I do have 7, but some of them are very quick. So let's start off with the quick ones. Number 1. I like ice cream. You like ice cream. We all like ice cream. Although I do not think I would like Skyline chili flavored ice cream.
Oh, yeah, no. I like chili, I like ice cream, but I don't want chili flavored ice cream.
An Ohio-based company is coming
up. Of course it's Ohio.
The reality show that we never needed is debuting February the 23rd on TLC. The Baldwins.
Oh, sweet God, why?
Yes, it is not Billy, it is Alec.
Ugh.
Can't wait to see how they handle the trauma around
Rust.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Baldwin. Sorry.
Okay, remember how we were making fun? It still hasn't debuted yet, but last year they announced we were making fun. Remember the show Fire Country?
Oh, they were going to do Sheriff Country.
Which they still are. Now, we know about the FBI series, right?
Yeah. The 3 back to back to back.
Well, they got another one coming. And this could be an even dumber title. Because I don't understand where they're going with this. FBI CIA is coming.
Oh, sweet God almighty. No.
FBI CIA.
FBI has jumped the shark.
FBI CIA coming for the 2025-26 season.
Dumb.
Scientists. We all love our scientists, right? They do so many wonderful things for us.
Do they?
Scientists recently cataloged an asteroid, called it 2018 CN41, and then they deleted it. You know why? Because it turns out it was actually Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster that he launched back in February of 2018. These brilliant scientists thought it was a new asteroid.
Dumbasses.
Okay, this is just me. This one's just me, but fucking Selena Gomez. Number one, that woman is an ugly, ugly crier. But her posting this Instagram thing about, oh, my people are being attacked.
Your people.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. I think you were off the week. I noted this. Had something else to do with her. She doesn't even know how to speak Spanish. But it's her people.
Your people.
That are getting attacked.
I believe, wasn't she born in the United States?
Well, if she can't speak Spanish, that would probably make sense. People were mocking her. She's in this big Emilia Perez movie that's nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. And they said her Spanish is laughably bad.
Oof.
But yeah, and boy, the pictures, I mean, literally, she is so ugly when she's crying. Most people are ugly when they cry.
But this is ugly.
Ugly. All right, I mentioned a few minutes ago about Hudson Thames and him having the balls to kind of imply, that Disney might be a little annoying and woke. Well, Anthony Mackie gets the opposite.
Anthony. What are you doing?
Overseas, promoting Captain America Brave New World coming out here soon, says Captain America should not represent America. Please, tell me what the fuck that means. He had to come back and, of course, apologize.
Explain it.
Yeah.
So bad.
This is, again, what I'm rooting for this movie to fail. I can't believe I'm saying this. Because I've always said that the one thing that looked PC that wasn't was Sam Wilson taking over as Captain America. The Falcon taking over that's happened. That's
canon.
Yes. But for him to say stupid shit like this, the Captain America does not represent America, is absolutely asinine.
Asinine.
And then they brought in some Hispanic doofus now to play the new Falcon. Marvel is destroying themselves. And finally, I think I saved the best for last. I don't know. You seem to like the whole Tesla Roadster asteroid
That's
thing.
funny.
Okay, Groundhog Day's coming up, right?
Yep.
Well, PETA's got to get their 2 cents in.
People eat tasty animals?
PETA says we need to stop abusing Puxatawny Phil. Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry. And we need to replace Groundhog Day. Their solution, we should have a cake. And if you cut it open, inside, if it's like blue, then that means spring is coming soon. And if it's a different color, that means winter is going to last longer. It's got to be a vegan cake, too. Did I mention that? It's got to be a vegan cake. So PETA says, no more Groundhog Day.
How about we get rid of PETA and make everybody happy?
Everybody loves animals, okay? But nobody loves PETA. Nobody loves PETA because you're all insane.
True that.
So your nominees.
Oh, wait.
You got one?
Yeah, didn't hit Mel Gibson's quote when he was talking about what Trump's doing when he was on CNN or no, on Fox. He goes, "It's like Daddy arrived and he's taken off his belt."
Well, I don't know what these 3 ambassadors are supposed to do. Stallone and him and it was John Voight, I think's the third one.
Yeah.
What are they supposed to do? So honestly,
I know. I don't get it. We're going to go to Southern California where we live and our homes were burned and we're going to do what?
Yeah. They're meaningless appointments.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
He basically nominated the 3 biggest supporters for him in Hollywood and gave them roles.
Which is what he does.
Well, it's what all politicians do. It's what all of them do.
Nobody assigned to anything has any business running what they do.
Now, once you get nominated to be King of Iceland or Greenland, then that's something. The next state.
Give me Governor of Canada.
Or Steward of the Gulf of America.
My God, that...
Oh, come on. Come on.
It's funny. It's funny.
You gotta... He is taking this second term a lot better than the first one. I think he is. I think he's toned things down, but he's still being Donald. I know, you still think you should be president.
Well, yeah. Don't you?
Let Donald finish up his 4 years, and then
Donald's
you can
gonna fuck everything up for me.
Not.
He's gonna make it more difficult for me.
Joe Biden did such wonderful things.
I'm not saying that.
Joe Biden was the worst president ever.
He was
ever
epically horrible.
Ever.
He was epically horrible.
Did you hear, by the way? Did you hear these disgusting rumors about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama
getting divorced?
Do you know why? Have you heard the rumors?
No.
They are saying they're getting divorced because Barack Obama is having an affair with Jennifer Aniston.
What?
I am not shitting.
What?
I am not shitting you. And if that's true, my entire life comes crumbling down. My all-time favorite celebrity crush, if she has that kind of pathetic judgment and taste, I'm done. I am done. I'm going to join a monastery. I'm going to become a monk.
Wow. Just wow.
Look it up. I'm telling you. Google it. Google it.
Look it up.
I'm telling you, they're saying those two are an item now. And that's why Michelle Obama wouldn't go with him to the inauguration.
Wow.
That disgusts me completely.
God. I want to throw up.
Yeah. How do you think I felt when I first heard it? All right, Dave, you got to make a decision here. Your choices are FBI, CIA, Skyline Chili Ice Cream, The Baldwins, Selena Gomez crying about her people being attacked.
Oh my God.
Anthony Mackie saying Captain America should not represent America. PETA replacing Groundhog Day with a vegan cake. And
the scientists.
And the scientists.
One, I gotta go with the damn scientists. They have the fucking telescopes. You can see what the fuck it is. How do you misrepresent a Tesla for an asteroid?
You seem to like that one the most. I could tell. I could tell. Yeah.
Selena Gomez and Mackie are...
Well, Selena Gomez is too easy. It's too easy.
It is.
Anthony Mackie, I'm probably going to go with him just because I'm a comic book geek. And the fact that
don't disparage Captain America.
And say he should not represent America. That's his fucking name!
It's
you
right
idiot!
there, Captain America!
I will say the pita cake thing's pretty funny.
That's pretty stupid.
But I expect nothing less from PETA. And I'm sure they will do more in the future.
To warrant
them being a nominee for the Red Foreman Dumbass of the Week. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us, especially hanging through. Dave is so sick.
I'm not that sick. Just a little.
You got
under
a box
the weather.
of tissues next to you. And not because you're crying about the Jennifer Aniston
I've
Barack
used
Obama
two
thing.
of them through the course of the evening.
I got through 2 months hacking my lungs out, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like. Hopefully he'll be back next week. You know, God forbid he's Joel Embiid. He misses half the shows. You got to listen to the sports edition.
That's an option?
Shut up, Dave! You got to listen to the sports edition to get the Joel Embiid reference. The sports edition, by the way, drops every Thursday morning.
So if you like politically incorrect sports commentary, and why wouldn't you, you know where to find it.
But until then, or 7 days from now, when we have to nurse you back through yet another hangover, your favorite politically incorrect pop culture commentary show will be back 1 week from now. But until then, I'm the Maestro Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador Dave Height. We are Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Say goodnight to the kids, you infectious, snotty Maestro Kevin Crane.
I think you just did.
It's been a long night, kids. We'll talk to you in 7. Bye.